Hello, anyone not still living in the 1970s? We interrupt your day to bring you this announcement. Husker Ninja is in the building. Alright, guys. We are here today with episode number 9 of the Akron Zips Dynasty here on NCAA 14. And today we'll be doing kind of a deep dive into recruiting and stuff going on around the rest of college football, as we are here in a bye week in week 9. So I put a little vote up in my Discord server just being like, would you be interested in seeing deeper recruiting videos and taking a look around other happenings in college football during bye weeks? And the response is overwhelmingly yes. And so that's what we're going to do. And just a little bit of a heads up, but for these videos, at least for now, I'm thinking I will do them as live comm, just so that it'll be easier to get timing wise, I think, than compared to editing and trying to guess how long I'll be talking in each one and giving myself enough time to talk for each segment. It's a little bit easier during gameplay, but it's more difficult when there's no gameplay. So I'm thinking for this non-gameplay one, I'm going to try doing some live comm. And if it doesn't turn out too great, then we won't do that in the future, and it'll all just be edited post-comm. But for now, we're going to try live comm. Oklahoma State came into the game with a 1-5 record, and they take down number 15 Iowa State 42-40. That one also required extra football, so an overtime win for the Cowboys. Now they're 2-5. And the big shocker of the week, probably, the previously winless Maryland Terrapins get their first win against number 10 Michigan. 31-14, the Terrapins on the board, and if they win out, they can still make a bowl game. But how about that? Michigan upset by a winless team, and that'll probably knock them at least to about the 20 range, I would think. And another one is number 5 Kansas State getting crushed by West Virginia 31-7. The Mountaineers are now 6-2 though, so maybe a little bit less of a shocker just because West Virginia is a good team. And I don't know how K-State got to number 5, but they will certainly not be there anymore when we get to the next week after this embarrassing performance. Alright, so we are here in week 10, and we'll get started with a look at the top 25. You have Ohio State and Texas A&M, who survived a scare against Vanderbilt last week. Iowa is number 3. They play at number 21 Wisconsin, so perhaps the undefeated season will end this week. Who knows? We'll find out. And Ohio State plays Maryland. Can Maryland pull off consecutive top 10 upsets as they try to get back to bowl eligibility? Who knows? Clemson should be much higher than number 4 in my opinion. They've been beating the snot out of everybody, but whatever. Bama comes in at number 5. Florida is number 6. Number 7 is Auburn. 8 is Stanford. 9 is Georgia. How are you going to tell me a team that is 4-3 and 3-2 in SEC play is going to be a top 10 team? That is dumb. Come on. What 4-3 team is going to be in the top 10? That's ridiculous. Oklahoma is number 10. Oregon is number 11. Should be number 10. Georgia does not belong in the top 25. But they don't belong in the top 10. They can be ranked, I guess. Because I know one of their losses was like Clemson. So, they can still be ranked. They just don't belong anywhere near the top 10 with a 4-3 record, EA. Kansas State falls all the way to number 12. UCF's up to number 13. Texas number 14. I mean, top 15 still seems a little high for a team that's 4-3, especially because the Big 12 is not as good as the SEC is. But whatever. At least around the top 10, like Georgia. But Texas is perennially overrated too. Remember when everyone's like, Texas is back after they beat Notre Dame in double overtime that one year, And then they lost to Kansas. I was like, sure, Titans is back. Anyway, Washington, number 15. Arizona, 16. Tennessee is 17. Mississippi State falls to number 18. Memphis is number 19. You know, good for the American. They got 2 teams in the top 20. That's slightly unheard of. Actually, it's, well, I don't know. But not what I would have expected, let's just say. Florida State, they're 6-1, but only number 20 because you got 2 4-3 teams in the top 15. Wisconsin, 5-2, they're number 21. Utah is number 22 after thrashing USC. LSU, okay, how is beating FCS Southeast 45-10? I'm going to tell you, a team that is 5-4 is good enough to be ranked. They're 2-3 in the SEC. What? EA, fix your computer logic. A 5-4, 2-3 team does not belong in the top 25, and they certainly don't deserve to move up to the top 25 after being some random FCS team. Come on. Georgia Tech is number 24, but at least they're 6-1, and Michigan almost fell all the way out of the top 25 after losing to Maryland. Instead, they are exactly number 25. So a mighty fall for the Wolverines, who are 6-2. But you shouldn't have lost to 0-6 Maryland, honestly. Michigan's overrated, too. Kansas, how's Kansas 5-2? Like, what? Kansas is 5-2, 2-2 in the Big 12. Texas is 4-3. See, the number 14 team in the country is 6th in their own conference standings. How are they a top 15 team? Come on. That is ridiculous. I mean, their points differential isn't really too shabby. But still, they're 4-3, 2-2, 6 in their conference standings. They're the number 14 team. Fix your logic. And looking at our conference, the MAC, Buffalo leads the East. They're 5-2, 3-1. Miami, Ohio is also 5-2 and 3-1. And not faced each other yet, as they are both undefeated in their division. Ohio's 4-4, 3-3. We are 4-3, 2-3. We have a 0-point differential. Did not realize that, but our offense has not been that great, honestly. Our defense has been solid, though. Bowling Green's 3-4, 1-3. Kent State's 1-7, 1-4. And the Golden Flashes are who we face this week in Week 10. So we better not lose to them, because that is our rivalry game, and if we lose, I'm going to cry. LSU's 5-4, 2-3. Do not belong in the top 25 Tigers, but whatever. Justin Herbert out of Oregon. David Blau, Tua Tagovailoa, Nate Stanley, and Trevor Lawrence rounding out the top 5. Rushing leaders, Van Edwards Jr. is 18th. We've got Pierce, Bradwell, Gaskin, Alex Barnes, and Travion Williams leading the top 5 rushers. Top 5 receivers, you got Ohio's Poppy White Jr. Yeah, he made a couple of insane catches against us. You've also got Rondale Moore, Easley from Iowa, Jerry Jeudy, and Lee from Middle Tennessee State. At the tackle leaders, you got Crouch is from Ohio. He's tied for the lead with Alvin Davis, and Ryan Bell and George are 3rd and 4th respectively. Whitfield from Tulsa is tied for 4th as well. Looking at sacks, you got Jones and Malone from Western Kentucky are 1 and 2. Higgins and Pace are also tied with Malone. And Coughlin is 5th with 7. Interception leaders, 7 apiece for Lewis and Singleton. Gilbert has 5. Caldwell has 5. Flowers has 5. So Duke's defense, they got some turnovers. They got 2 guys who are combined for 12 interceptions right now, but they still can't win a game. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the deep dive into recruiting. I wanted to save recruiting for last. And I wanted to go kind of position by position. And then at running back, we have Scott Terrell from Horsham, Pennsylvania. We need a fullback, and so that leaves us James Burnett from Alliance, Ohio is really the only option we have right now. And we have a lot of bonus points for him, so that's nice. But he tried to lock us out, so I had to put another coach upgrade into Locksmith, even though I really didn't want to, just to get him to unlock. And he visits us next week, so we just have to stay in the hunt. That might be tough. Miami, Ohio has more bonus points, and if they're maxing him out, that could be a little bit difficult. But they locked us out after he visited Miami, so if we can get him to the off season, I will probably have to put a lot of points into him, even though I don't really want to. But we need a fullback, and I don't want to just move some dinky tight end or receiver or running back or someone just to fill the need. Receiving wise, we have Todd Rouse from Oak Park, Michigan. Dan Dingle from Salina, Ohio. I believe we do actually have tight end as one of our team needs. And so Dingle's not a great overall, but he's a position of need technically. So he's got a scholarship and 50 points. At tackle, one of the guys I really want more than anything else is Jason Barnes. He's a 3-star tackle from Reading, Ohio. He was a plus 12 gem. I really want this guy. Look at his blocking across the board is good. He's got 91 excel, 83 strength. The kid could be a stud. And Temple's already got a visit. He does have 4 scholarship offers out there. But if we can just get this to the offseason, I'm going to put a lot of points into him. He visits us next week. So it won't be week 10, but week 11. And I do not anticipate getting locked out since no one visits him this week. So I anticipate to continue gaining ground on Temple and hopefully Cincy as well. And we'll see what we can do come time for our visit in 2 weeks from now. But Jason Barnes, he's a top target at this point. We really want him. And he's an in-state guy. He's a gem. We really want him. Offensive line. Could use a lot of faceless. I think he would be a stud for us for 4 years. So we really want Jason Barnes. We also have Jovan Washington from Bristol, Pennsylvania. He's not bad. He would be someone who would redshirt because his pass blocking and impact blocking aren't quite up to snuff. So he's not as good as Barnes. We really only wanted to offer him a scholarship. We got 100 points on him right now. He visits us in 2 weeks. We have a couple guards I'm really interested in Arthur McClellan and Jared Harris. Both are from Ohio. McClellan's from Mansfield and Jared from Pequot. Scouting-wise, they're both pretty good. They're both solid lineman prospects. We have the lead on Texas Tech for Jared Harris. He visits us week 11 as well. McClellan comes in week 13. We are losing a little bit of ground on him to Ohio, who had the visit week 7. So I'd like to get both of these guys. I may not get both of these guys, but we'll see what happens. And at defensive end, we've got 5 guys, but none of them are really super highly rated. So we don't have points in any of them. And we do have scholarships to the top 2 overalls. But John Moore, only 2 scholarship offers. He's leaning heavy on North Carolina right now. Don't want to put points into him if North Carolina is going to offer it to him. Maybe if we start to gain ground and North Carolina continues to not offer scholarships, we'll make a move. At defensive tackle, another one of our key targets right now from Grand Haven, Michigan. It's 3-star defensive tackle Douglas Williams. He's a 79 overall. And we scouted him. He was a gem as well. He's got solid ratings. His speed, I don't think is too bad for a defensive tackle. He just got solid all-around ratings. He would be a really good 4-year player for us. But you can see we are losing some ground. He's probably going to lock us out after this week. But we will have one open the door remaining for that locksmith. And he will visit us week 11. So maybe we can make some moves on him. Who knows? But Douglas Williams is someone, at the very least, I want to get him to the off season. If he doesn't commit in season, if he commits to us in season, great. But I'd be perfectly content dumping a lot of points on him in the off season. We also have Jack Griffin. We're putting 150 points on from Speedway, Indiana. James Burton from Harrison, Michigan. Also has a scholarship, but we're not throwing points at him right now. I mean, we do have to think about some potential backup options if we don't get Douglas Williams. So that's kind of what these two guys are, just backup plans. We're the only ones to offer them scholarships for right now, so that is definitely a plus for us. But again, the one I'd much rather have is Douglas Williams. At outside linebacker, we got Robbie Cook from Cincinnati and Jerome Anthony from St. Mary's, Ohio. Couple of in-state guys who we are both interested in. I mean, I would like to get both of these guys, I think. Cook's a 68. He went up 1. Anthony went up 2. He's a 71. And we're the only one to offer Anthony points right now. Penn State just took the lead on a visit, so we'll have to see if we gain ground or how that continues to progress. I may end up taking some points off of Cook and throwing them onto Anthony. But for right now, we're still in okay shape since no one else has offered them yet. So we're just going to kind of see how these things progress and unfold. Cornerback from Van Wert, Ohio, James Dawson is a guy we found in the low lock percentages. You can see we are going to be going up against some big names, but we have some somewhat decent points on him. And he was a major gem. He went up 11 from a 67 overall. He's got 82 man, 85 zone, 85 press, 94 speed, 89 acceleration, 87 jumping. He's even got 65 tackle, which isn't too bad for a cornerback. Yeah, 80 pursuit and 82 play rec. I mean, this man is also someone we really want, and so we are going to offer him the max number of points we can. Really only one with the scholarship, but Georgia is starting to gain some ground, and so it could be a little bit of a tough ask if they offer him a scholarship. Hopefully, though, we can at least get him to the offseason, and in which case we would dump a lot of points into him because James Dawson, probably one of our top 3 targets, along with the other ones we highlighted. That would be Douglas and then Barnes, the tackle. But James Dawson, we were very excited about him. We uncovered a gem, a hidden gem under our noses. He's in our home state. So now we are going after him with everything we got. James Dawson, please come here. We really want you. I think our top 2 corners are both seniors as well, maybe even our top 3. So cornerback would be a need here, and James Dawson would certainly go a long way towards helping to fill that need. At free safety, we have James Mathis from Galion, Ohio. I mean, Alvin Davis is a junior, so Mathis would be redshirted. He'd come in and come in redshirt year 1 and then be a 4-year starter. He would not play right away, though. I mean, he didn't go up or down when scouting, but he's a solid backup prospect, maybe a starter with a year of development. We've got a nice bonus points on him, and so we're going to try and go for him. He's not one of our top 3 guys, but we would like to get him, thinking for the future with Davis as a junior. And at strong safety, we got 3 guys we're looking at, and Kellen Irvin is just on the board to be on the board at this point. I'd say John Washington from Crab Orchard, West Virginia would be our primary strong safety target. Brandon Ball from Toledo would be second. But Washington, we're the only one to offer a scholarship so far. We'll see if we can continue to gain some ground, and Kent State's gaining some ground on us. They get the visit this week when they play us, so we'll have to beat them and have them have a not very good visit. And then, like we said, Terrell Madsen is our first and so far only commit of this recruiting cycle. But with Tom O'Leary as a senior, we needed a kicker. And Madsen's a 2-star from Springfield, Ohio, but he's got decent kicking ratings. It'd be a nice 4-year starter. We also need a punter, and so we're looking at Matt Moore from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. We are losing some ground to guys like Syracuse and Michigan State right now, so we'll have to see how those things go. He visits us in 2 weeks, maybe by then we'll be able to help close the door a little bit, gain some ground. I mean, if we need to take a walk-on punter, that's fine. I'll just play Madsen at both spots. But I would like to not have a terrible walk-on wasting roster space if I can help it. Recruiting, not a ton of news one way or the other, as most of these battles are dragging on through the midway point of the season. We'll see if we start to see some clarity over the back half of the year. But for right now, we're sticking with what we got and hoping we see some positive news here moving forward. We have most of our guys coming in for visits 2 weeks from now. That'll be a big game that we need to win. That will do it for me, and I will see you guys next time.